going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best-selling cards under $5 or less for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. Let's just jump into it. So this card's set for the hand, especially someone on level 2 or 3. Yeah, Nimble Angler only has one printing. Oh, I feel foolish. I feel foolish. I didn't know that. Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! Cause here's the thing. I remember, I don't remember what card, but there was a level 2 monster at the announcement of Splight that went up super high. Um, and I remember seeing that, and at the same time, I knew water monsters would be crazy. Um, I never gave a second thought to this card. This is one of those ones, too, though, where you might have, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of listings, even though there was clearly a buyout recently. 24, 10, 12. Like, this is the one where you look back in your tin. That's where I keep a lot of my comments, is like my tin, or you like have like binders, or you have boxes, or your tub, or whatever you have. Ha! And this is one of those situations where you just try to see how many of these you have. This card is slipping out of the $5 mark. Literally a month ago, it was 46 cents. So the question always is this a good investment now? Please, like, if you need the card, get it. I don't know what combo was figured out on, like, July 4th. I don't know what was figured out. Probably just some random deck was playing it or something. I don't know. If you need it for that and you don't have the card, get it. $5 is really not that much. And we take a look at literally, if we should look at the second page, right? So it looks like it actually is going to hold a line of $5 for a while. If we just go to near mints, though, what does that show us? Yes, it's going to be $5 for a while, right? So if you need for that, but as far as like, is this a good investment? No, like this is definitely going to dip back down. I don't know when. I don't know how soon. Like I said, this is pretty solid. This is a really solid card. Like this card has definitely seen play before. Like I don't think if we can go back, I don't think we can go back more than a year. But if we could, you probably would stumble upon this card, and it also could be reprinted too, right? Random commons from random sets that all of a sudden become high value get reprints. So be on the lookout for a reprint. Like I said, I don't think it's a solid investment. Um, but I just wish I would have thought of it first. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, and that is the interesting thing. Like a lot of times, when we do it this style, that's why I ask a lot of comments, as many as I can get, because I just look at the top 24 best selling cards under $5, right? Um, and sometimes if it's on this list, the shipment may have already sailed, right? Like if we take a look at Anti-Spell Fragrance, the ship's kind of sailed on Anti-Spell. Yeah, it's like this is when you wanted to get it, right? Um, Even though, I mean, it was pretty cheap. It was a lot cheaper back then, right? Or like right here, you'd want to get it. Um, but there is still value to be made from this list because there's a reason why these cards are on this list, and the fluctuations from there are interesting. But like I said, I'm always open to comments about like what cards you think $5 or less could be the next Nimble Angler, right? But a lot of these are, Regeki, we've seen that, Dark Ruler, Branded in Red, Signet Mining, Marinus cards, Forbidden Chalice, Hauk, Edge of Chain. This wasn't on here last week. This card's been interesting because, yeah, I thought so. I thought it had dipped down in value. Here's the thing with Edge of Chain. So, first off, 3 different versions. I don't love that. Second off, the main deck it's ran in, branded Despia. At this point, I think it's only going to get worse. Like, I don't really see a situation where it gets better. The only thing I could see it, and the thing is too, if it does get better, it will probably cut out this because this is just an engine. This is just like a part of it. Like, so I see that this could be a dip right here. This could definitely be like a solid buy the dip, and it might go back up. But what's gonna make it go back up in value? I don't really see it for Edge of Chain either, right? Just something to keep in mind. And obviously, these are just suggestions. Do with your money as you feel, right? Um, we got Nadir Servant, Mystic Mind. Fight for Patchwork's here as well. Now, Patchwork, I could be wrong about this. Okay, so there are multiple versions of Patchwork, but there's only two. Patchwork's a little different because this deck is very popular. Like if you look at it, it's always been one of the best budget decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fluffles. And so, and Patchwork's the best, like the main staple of the main deck that you need. Like Patchwork and Toy Vendor, right? Among some other cards as well. But that's why I could see this holding value. I don't see Edgem Chain doing that. Like if you look at what Edgem Chain looked like back when it was just a Fluffle card, which if you go to the full year, like it was like $1 card. That makes sense. This is about $1 card, right? But Patchwork has always been a $3 to $5 card, and because Edgem Chain is going down in value, it is starting to go down in value. So this could be actually an interesting dip, just because of, like I said, Patchwork has more value than Edgem Chain, in my opinion. Edgem Chain is a very solid card. Patchwork is one of the best cards in the archetype. So that's just my 2 cents on that card. Lure of Darkness. Okay, because I thought I said there was one for 95 cents. So this is kind of starting to dip down too. Oh, still, I think, listen, Lure of Darkness for me is like a $2 card. If you can get a Lure of Darkness, especially a non-common version of Lure of Darkness, for under $1.50, you're going to see some gains on that. But if not, I don't know. But actually, that brings up a good point. Gates of the Underworld. Just thought of this because the Dark World structure deck is coming out soon. So just taking a look at Dark World cards, not really diving too deep into any of them, but just like Snow, Gates, Dealings, Grapha. Something to keep an eye on. Like this, the structure deck itself is $30, which is a bit pricey, but the cards aren't. And a lot of these cards are going to get reprinted for the new structure deck. We might not get the new structure deck. That has happened before too. I don't know if it's been. I don't think it's been confirmed to TCG. And a lot of these cards are like older cards, like Escape from the Dark Dimension, Belial. What was it? There's another card in here. Battle Fader, right? But just be on the lookout for Dark World cards. It just made me think of that because we went to Allure of Darkness. And for the structure deck version is kind of cheaper, and it's always, like I said, it's always been a $2 card. So if you're able to get it, this says it's got damage for $1.50, right? It's about $2 card. If you're able to get it for like $1 or less, I would definitely go in on that. But anything more than that, like even the commons of Allure Darkness, I guess this one's a little under $2. So yeah, Layer of Darkness. I don't think that archetype's getting support anytime soon. Just my thoughts on Allure of Darkness. It's if you can, I think it's a $2 card. If you get it for $2, don't be surprised if you don't make any money on it. But if you are able to get it for less than $2, especially if it's like $1.50, $1.40, you could be in a good spot. Dynamorphia Rexterm, still doing Dynamorphia things. Swap Frog is Swap Frog. Borrowland's a good card here too. And then Fusion Destiny. it's still just tanking. It's still going super far down. I think, yeah, like the lowest, and we got 314, 297. This is a less than $3 card. I'm just saying, be on the lookout for this card. It does have three printings, but that's an OTS printing, so that doesn't count. That's an OTS Ultimate Rare. That definitely does not count. The Dark Neostorm. Because when we talked about this card, I think this card came up like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was saying like this card is just at the it's correcting itself because it's on the way down. Like look at where it was a year ago. Like a year ago it was about $1.30, $1.50. But we didn't have Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer back then. And this archetype always gets new support. Always, 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 always gets new support. I don't think it would take a lot, to be honest, to make this card maybe not go back up to, what was it, $20? At one point, it was a $20 card for Dark Neostorm version. And the 2020 Tins version was also a $20. Jeez. But if it just hits half of that, $10, even $8, even if it hits $5, we're going to see gains. So I think we're getting very close to the point of this card actually being good value, just simply because heroes are always getting support. So this card is going to maintain value. Not only is it always getting support, but it's a fan favorite. It's like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Heroes are all up like some of the biggest fan favorite decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. And so just be on the lookout for that. I'm not looking at Dinomorphia cards. I'm just so over Dinomorphia. I am curious what happened to... I'm just looking for one card here. Because it was either last week or the week before. I got really excited because two versions of Cyframe Gear Gamma were right next to each other in the Penny Stock Market Watch. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, it was this version. I see what happened. I guess it is still under $5, but its market price is not. That's what happened. I've already talked about this card. I don't want to dive too deep into it again. But since release, $5 got all the way up to $5. Okay, so it was like $4 upon release, got all the way up to $5.50, and now it's seeing that peak again. If you like notice here, this version is like 10 months old, I think. So, and I think this is the second most expensive version, or second cheapest version. Like I said, ultra rare from High Speed Riders. Not talking about that; those are not penny stock. But the one that brought us here, right? This was, I think, like it was 17 or 18. And like I said, we talked about this card 2 weeks ago, but I more talked about how I didn't really think it was a solid investment, and I don't really like the card itself because you got to run this. But if it keeps maintaining value, like because if you've looked back at all of my market watches, you will see either this version, or both. And in most cases, it was both. So this card is just always popular. We're not in Master Duel format. This card is at 3. And listen, if Max C... I know, we're not ready to have that conversation, but we are getting closer to the ban list. If Max C comes back, right, especially with Emergency Teleport at 3, Branded Fusion's a card, right? Shaddoll Fusion's a card, and Invocation Poly, those are cards, right? I'm trying to think of another. I know Drytron runs some ritual spells. I think they usually have a monster, though, on board, which is another reason why I don't like this card, because if you have a monster on board, you can't use this card. But especially, Electromite too. Like if Electromite Max C come back, right? Now all of a sudden pendulums they go scale scale, or they do their combos and they go scale scale instead of scale to pendulum summon. Your opponent chains Max C, like that's what you do against pendulums. Once their scale is set, you chain Max C. You don't have any monsters, you can chain Gamma. So I could definitely see Maxi coming off the ban list being a positive for obviously cards like Crossout Designator, Call by the Grave, etc. But really Psyframe Gear Gamma, because even though Maxi usually gets used when the opponent has already summoned a card, and so there's a monster on board, and maybe that's what people are going to do. They're going to purposefully play around Gamma with Maxi, but sometimes you just can't. Like, Emergency Teleport comes down, you have to play Maxi, because if your opponent, if someone plays, I remember I got into discussion with this about somebody who had read it, like how you shouldn't play Maxi on Emergency Teleport, which is just the wrongest thing ever. Because if someone plays Emergency Teleport, you're obviously going to get the 1-for-1. And if they just say, all right, I'm done, I'm not going to special summon, um, I guess they could, like, unless they tribute summon the card they summoned off of Emergency Teleport, which a lot of decks just don't have the option to do, they're going to be stuck banishing that card. And some decks are okay with that. A lot of Psychic decks are okay with banishing, which is weird that Psychic is so cool on banishing. Like Virtual World, Cosmos, those are banishing decks. Cyframes, those are banishing decks that don't really care about cards being banished, that are Psychic-based cards. But a lot of decks, a lot of cards like Punk, I don't really think loves if their card gets banished off Emergency Teleport. Phantom Knights has an Emergency Teleport target that they run. They don't want that card getting banished either. So if you chain Max C to that, then you're in a situation where your opponent almost has to go into the Max C, right? And you have to go into it at least a little bit, so you're just getting value. But if you activate Emergency Teleport, your opponent activates Maxine, and you have the Cypher from Gear Gamma, you can chain the Cypher from Gear Gamma, right? So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve on this one, right? Because it does appear like, if it'll allow me to go all the way back, it does appear like this card is really good at maintaining value. Like, is it going to be a $6, $7, $8 card anytime soon? Probably not, especially if nothing happens. But if something comes out that makes this card better, whether it's Max C or just something I'm not even thinking of, it's going to go up in value. Because like I said, it just got reprinted. It's probably not going to get another reprint. Like, it's got the original version from High Speed Riders, Extreme Force version, which isn't that old, Toon Chaos version, which I think is, like, it's not old, but it's definitely not, like, new. It's like the Eldorado. And it's got the Eldorado version, which made this version go down, right? But before, if we go back to this card, actually, if we go to the what this looked like before the Eldorado version, it was like a $6, $7 card, right? It might be able to climb back up there again, to be honest. So I still don't like the card to run, but as far as an investment, it might not be terrible. However, I don't love recommending this either, because this is the penny stock market watch, and this card is like knocking on the door. All versions are either over $5 or very close to $5. But let me know what you guys think. What cards under $5 are you looking forward to most? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button to show your support for the channel. Subscribe if you want more content. Most importantly of all, have a good day.